Why can't gods, when they get upset, just do like what everybody else does and write angry posts on Facebook for all their close family to like and love and make that little laughing emoji by? Or why don't they just make angry tweets on Twitter so everybody can retweet them, and then they like make their account protected because the backlash that they got from, like, why don't they try to just be like everybody else? Why they got to be all like flashy and send assassins and things like that? It's a bit extra, but I guess that's what you can expect from deities, right? Hey everyone, how's it going? Noxidar here, and welcome to the next reaction in the Disney original Percy Jackson and the Olympians. By this point in time, my previous 3 videos are now up on the channel, and I've been having just a blast responding to all of you in the comments. I have just been blown away by the show of love and just the outpouring of support that all of you have for what I'm doing, for passion for this production that we're all watching and going on this journey together. It has been so satisfying to just be part of something bigger than ourselves. And so I don't have to tell you that I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully you are as well. I'm really looking forward to just kind of diving in. The new episode has just dropped, and I am going to react to it right now. It's been such a long time since I had swimming lessons.
I can't. Yeah, you really can. You just have to try. I did try. No, you didn't. You know I wouldn't ask you to do this if it wasn't safe, right? It could be dangerous for you if you don't know how to do this. One day, it could be really, really important, and I may not be there to help you when that happens.
Oh yeah, he's not listening. Look at that face.
Just breathe, Mommy. That's what you always tell me to do.
Oh, look at those puppy dog eyes. He's definitely being a good son right here.
You'll always be here.
Isn't it so heartbreaking when they use those famous last words like that? So this is a recurring nightmare he's had for a long time then.
A forbidden child attracts attention. A forbidden hero, they attract doom. She is coming.
I called it a nightmare, but it's almost like a prophetic vision, yeah? To be told at such a young age you're going to be hunted, and like, so to have that then reinforced by your own mother, who's like, this is very important, this could save your life sooner than you think. It must have been so traumatizing. It's a really interesting way to open this episode, especially because I feel like where we left off in the last episode, he had a little bit more assurance of himself. I mean, he lopped the head off of a Medusa, for crying out loud, and then he packaged it and sent it to Olympus. And so to have him back on the back foot and a little unsteady, I suppose this is a way in which we can kind of raise the stakes that yes, this is still very much a boy, and he's still very much afraid. And even though he has done a heroic feat here or there, he has a long way to go before he's this whatever it is that the fates have decided him to be.
She was tough. I mean, she knew she was a forbidden kid, she just didn't care. Luke cared for me right away, but Alia, she made me earn it.
Is that why you give me a hard time? I gotta earn it with you too?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I gotta say, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's worth it though, Percy.
The way you guys all talk, the way the gods want us to think. Gotta burn an offering to get a parent's attention. Gotta beat up on Clarice just to get my father to admit he's my father. It isn't supposed to work that way. People who are close to you aren't supposed to treat you that way.
It's got a really good point.
I started out as a gift to my father. That's how it works with Athena. We're born from a thought in her mind and then given to a partner she feels connected to. Then he met a woman. They had their own kids.
Oh.
And to her, I wasn't a gift. I was a problem.
You know, just like a lot of classical stories of heroes, they all seem to come from these very very tragic origin stories. I mean, you see that a lot with even like superheroes, you know, which would be kind of our contemporary look at the story structure of classical heroes. This kind of goes back to a little bit of what I said, where I really feel like this story has a lot of humanity to it. There's a lot of touch points that I think a lot of, especially younger readers, can really kind of grab onto and say, I could see myself in this position. Maybe they didn't have the easiest of childhoods, or maybe they were currently going through a troubled childhood, or maybe their childhood was fine and they tended to side with Percy. It's interesting that already in the dynamic just between these two characters, between Annabeth and Percy, we kind of have like a gambit of emotions, but also like anchor points for the reader to not necessarily see themselves in those shoes, but to feel as though they are part of this story. I think this performance in this moment really captures that spirit. Previously, I really went on and on about just how well Walker Scobell was doing this, particularly with his comedic timing. And the one thing that I've been really kind of waiting for was for a moment for Annabeth to really show her chops, because for the longest time she wasn't really saying anything in the series, and if she did, it was very like short, truncated, and she was kind of used, I think I said in like a comment, she's kind of used like a blunt instrument to kind of just like bludgeon Percy Jackson back on course to continue the story. And I really wanted to see what she was capable of. And so to have a tender moment like this to explain that, you know, I was considered a gift, and then that gift basically lost its allure once another person came in and a whole family started. This is very real. This really shows an element of humanity that I think maybe I always, especially the writer in me, the storyteller in me, always tends to kind of gravitate towards, because there is, I think, in essence, especially for a lot of kids, and even maybe adults, there's a lot of wish fulfillment. Come from a broken home, but you find a new family, story elements and things like that. I really am not trying to speak at such great lengths, but it's all just kind of pouring out of me in this moment. So this will be fun to edit, because I'll probably cut a lot of it out.
But at least with the gods, you know the rules. Show them respect and they'll be in your corner no matter what.
I could see why someone would find a sense of allure in that. Like, you understand how the world works when you adhere to these.
Plenty of time before a deadline to reach the underworld.
Can I ask a dumb question?
It's like you need me to make fun of you.
Well played.
I've never been to Los Angeles before. How will we have any idea where we're going?
But that's like step 37, and we're still on step 4.
Centaurs.
Oh.
No one even knows they're there.
There used to be herds of them everywhere.
What happened to them?
A few thousand years ago, the god of the wild, Pan, disappeared.
Oh.
Ever since, without Pan to protect the natural world, humans have been trying really hard to chip away at it.
The bravest satyrs volunteer to become searchers.
Your uncle we found in Medusa's.
I was just about to say.
He was a searcher.
Failed to save what matters most. That can mean a lot of things. That's how prophecies work. That's how fate works.
Oh my gosh.
When we left to get breakfast, everything was intact. We don't know how this happened.
No one's questioning Grover's horns.
We don't have anything.
The people who think you stole Zeus's master bone might disagree.
Exactly. They think you have something,
Right.
Percy.
I know how scared you must be. Excuse me. Would you
I can't
mind
stand that
giving us
uneasy
some
smile.
Space, I think. Yes, sweetheart. I know. You're impatient.
What in the world is in that bag? A gremlin?
You're going to have to bear the burden of your parents' mistakes today.
We've run across a few monsters like you, and we've sent them all packing.
They were my children.
Uh,
Does
yeah,
that mean-
exactly.
The mother of monsters.
Echidna.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
To my eye, the demigod is a more dangerous creature. If I exist for anything, it is to stand in the way of monsters.
That's interesting because, you know, they always say like the best villains kind of see themselves as heroes of their own story. we have that very much prominently on display here with Echidna. I don't think I've ever come across a deity like that before. The theme playing out this episode, it really is between like being misunderstood, both with Annabeth with regards to her father, Percy with regards to having to show any kind of reverence or deference toward these deities to get their attention, that's not the way healthy relationships work. And he's got a point. And then now we have Echidna seeing herself as having this kind of obligation to stand between forces that she believes to be even more dangerous than the fantastical creatures of their world. It's kind of, I'm starting to see a bit of a theme emerging here. And the funny thing is, the more and more episodes of this I see, the more I see that it parallels kind of my own thoughts when I first started, like One Piece, for example. Like One Piece, even when I lived in Japan, I saw it everywhere. And I pretty much was like, I don't think this is something I want to get into. And so I put it off for decades, for years. When I came around to finally watching the live action on Netflix, I realized that the dismissive nature at which I approached things had robbed me of an opportunity for years of my life to sit down and enjoy a good story. And I can't help but feel I'm re-experiencing that twice in 1 year, although now it's 2024 when I'm recording this. But I've realized that I really have robbed myself of incredible stories for many years, just simply because I had made up my mind that it wasn't for me. Like I already understood it, and I didn't try to seek its value, and I didn't try to understand the value even from those around me who just spoke so highly of these stories. You know, I get to enjoy this. I get to sit down and enjoy these wonderful stories, and even better, I get to interact with a wonderful community such as the people watching this right now, and leaving comments and just being supportive and stuff. But you know, it really does speak to me that there is a lesson here for me to learn, to stop judging things solely on first appearances, or to have made up my mind. I can't help but feel like these lessons are being beat over my very soft head at the moment. And I do want you to know I am learning these lessons, and this is really exciting. So this is cool to see this kind of like broken down, and I do feel like that is going to be a big theme probably for the rest of the season, but most specifically for this episode as well.
You will be her prey.
I do not like that uneasy smile.
Are you afraid yet? It's all right.
Oh, is it a snake, a slug, an eel? What is it?
You got ahead of yourself. We'll work on that.
Oh, that made me so uncomfortable. I can't stand that smile. I mean, the acting is amazing, right? Because there really is like a kind of just insidious, psychotic nature to it. That's fun to watch, but
We just need a safe place to hole up.
Someplace safe. Any ideas where we might find one of those?
There's an Athenian temple somewhere in the middle of downtown St. Louis.
Except it's not all that hidden.
is it the Arch? Wow. I've never been there before.
A monument to the power of perfection. You're talking about what some humans want this place to be about. I'm talking about what it actually is.
Interesting. So when he said natural world, he really meant the entire natural world, not just the fantastical elements of it. Horrifying monument to everything that he stands for.
Be right down, just go into the potty.
I have a gift.
The voice crack sells it though.
We needed a safe place, and your mom had one waiting. Pretty lucky we happened to be in the right city for it.
Luck or fate?
There's those words again. Fate.
You've done more for me in the past few days than my father's done in my entire life.
Somewhere around here, the Oracle is laughing at us, but you know. Whoa! Percy!
I think those stinger things were poisonous.
The water cure back at camp. It should work for poison too, right?
Oh my gosh.
We need to get back inside. Did you hear that?
I don't think I heard it. What was I listening for? I was just in pure terror. Just like them, probably.
He said my impertinence wounded my mother's pride, and that will be my doom.
But I'm the one who sent the head to Olympus. I signed the note.
And I went along with it.
I mean, these gods are a fickle bunch, aren't they? Why can't gods, when they get upset, just do like what everybody else does and write angry posts on Facebook for all their close family to like and love and make that little laughing emoji by? Or why don't they just make angry tweets on Twitter so everybody can retweet them, and then they like make their account protected because the backlash that they got from, like, why don't they try to just be like everybody else? Why they got to be all like flashy and send assassins and things like that? It's a bit extra, but I guess that's what you can expect from deities, right?
They'll be up here any minute, and if my mother isn't going to protect us, then we'll just have to fight it out up here.
This is so epic. This music has just like nonstop making me feel like I'm being pushed. It's just moving me along.
Take this.
Oh, well played.
Poseidon's never helped me before. He wasn't gonna start now. I would have never made it to Hades. Percy, please. But you can.
I love how intense this is. And again, this goes back to what I was saying about how like I'm learning not to just like prejudge things, let myself get lost in a good story. The amount of intensity in this situation would just be almost, in my mind, insurmountable to your average 12-year-old. But like Annabeth said in the last episode, definitely not me. They're not just kids. I almost wonder if in this moment Percy has really taken that to heart. A hallmark of a really good writer is to be able to guide you through a story, to like tell you what happens next. But a masterful storyteller has those layers of nuance, the things that go unsaid, the things that we just kind of have like that silent knowing and understanding of character. And these are the spaces that I really like to explore in moments like this, because we're not really getting Percy's thoughts except for right here in this moment. We didn't see like the machinations running in his head to lead him to that moment to make that snap decision and trade places with Annabeth. Now the book might be a different circumstance, and you have to understand I'm not the book reader, so I realize that things might be playing out even very differently from the book. But what's on display here, that visual vocabulary, that sense of like, yes, I understand this about this character. I could see why he would do that. His explanation tells so much more of the story, more than just an exposition dump could do. Kind of like I'm doing with these rambling comments where I pause the video and do it. I'm taking some of your advice to heart. I am pausing so that I can talk. Well, be careful what you wish for. Oh my gosh. My eyesight's already bad, that blurriness. That's a pup? I don't even think I could make the first swing. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter, so this gives me Monster Hunter vibes for some reason. Oh no! It's only 629.5 feet to drop. You'd be fine. Oh my gosh. Ow. There's no way that was... Yep. No way that was gentle. Oh, thanks, Dad. Some rescue.
He's always been here, and he's so very proud.
Just breathe.
Trust him. Breathe.
Seems like really bad advice. There's no way that's the end. We were just getting started. Oh man, that's so exciting. That has to feel so good to hear. It's one thing to have your mom comfort you in the absence of your father. It's quite another to be told by a mythological figure that your father loves you very much. I guess, I mean, I can't relate, but I can only imagine. But maybe not as much relief as finding out that you can breathe underwater while you're struggling against, drowning. That's so cool that Rick Riordan takes these actual places, places you or I could just go visit and go be a tourist within, and to have them have a whole fantastical extra associated meaning with them, that yes, this is actually, like a temple to Athena. I think that is just something special about the power of imagination. I know this is something that Tolkien talks about, our creative powers as people, as what he classifies as like sub-creation, a divine being giving us life through their imagination. That's creativity. That's creation. The power that we have to kind of manifest fantasy through our own imagination is classified as like sub-creation. To see that like just placed inside of a novel for not just young adults, but really anybody to be creatively fed by that imagination, the imagination of an author. I think that's that's so wildly cool. I'm just in love with this story. I can't believe how raw and intense these human emotions are for characters that are supposed to be, more than that. And, maybe it's the extraordinary circumstances that they're under. But I feel like even though the fantastical elements introduce themselves all throughout the pace of this story, we never once lose sight of the fact that these are real human characters having real human struggles. This was a very just enlightening episode, on top of just again maintaining this breakneck pace, and I don't say that in like terms of it feels rushed. I just mean it's a story that is happening and unfolding at a rate that feels consistent with the story that it is telling. It's just so much fun. I can't wait for the next week. I honestly thought I had like 10-15 minutes left of the episode. They have me for the rest of it, and I know I've been talking with people in the comments after these reactions to season 1. I want to do a scripted review for season 1 so I don't ramble too much like I do right here. I would like to read book 1 and kind of talk about like the whole experience and kind of close that chapter on both season 1 of the TV show and on book 1 of Percy Jackson. And then after that, look for some of the interviews to kind of learn a little bit more about this author that I've heard by name so many times, and it would be really cool to just kind of learn his story as well. So that's all the time we have for today. I will see you in the next one. This is Noxidar out.